Part 1. This is going to be a long one, and honestly, I'm still shaking. I 35 years old men have been married to my wife Mel 32 years old for just over 5 years. We don't have kids, mostly by choice. We've been focusing on our careers, as she always puts it. Things have always been functional, if not particularly romantic these last couple years. But I thought we were solid, stable, trustworthy. That's what makes this whole thing feel like a punch to the face. It started about 8 months ago when Mel's car broke down. Nothing major, just a transmission issue, but she decided not to fix it. She said Uber was more convenient, and since she worked part-time as a freelance interior designer, she could write off the cost as a business expense. I didn't question it much. I work a 9 to 6 office job, and Mel's schedule is more flexible. That meant she had a lot of time alone, and she was constantly on the move. I'd often hear her come in late, claiming she was at a client's house or sourcing furniture. Sometimes she'd be on FaceTime with coworkers when I walked into the room, and she'd immediately mute the call or take it to another room. Looking back now, I feel like an idiot. What really tipped me off wasn't even anything dramatic at first. It was a receipt. I found it in the trash one Saturday morning, a printed Uber trip summary. The timestamp said 11:48 p.m. on a Wednesday, way past the time she said she got home that night. And the destination? Some random apartment complex I'd never heard of. I asked her about it. She laughed, said it was a mistake, that the app glitched and sent the receipt from an old ride. I wanted to believe her, so I did. I mean, who prints out a fake Uber receipt just to mess with someone? But something didn't sit right, so I started paying more attention. That's when I noticed a pattern. Same driver's name over and over. Ricardo, sometimes listed as Rico. 5-star rating, always the one picking her up, always the one dropping her off. Once or twice a day, every other day. When I asked about that, she rolled her eyes and said, "He's just reliable. I feel safer with the same person." I let it go, but something was definitely wrong. Part 2. So after noticing the pattern with this driver, Ricardo, or Rico, I started doing something I never thought I'd do. I started keeping track. Yeah, I felt like a psycho. I'd quietly take screenshots of her ride receipts if she left her email open. I checked timestamps, routes, destinations. I even made a little spreadsheet to keep my sanity in check. Most of the trips made sense. Office supply store, furniture outlet, a client's office downtown, but then there were the weird ones. Same destination, same time, multiple days. Always after 9 p.m. The place wasn't a business. I reverse searched the address. Just a residential building in a quiet part of the city. No reason for her to be there. I didn't confront her this time. Instead, I asked one of my friends, who's way more tech-savvy, if he could help me set up a GPS tracker on her phone. Nothing illegal, just using the built-in Find My feature under the guise of safety. She bought it, said, "You're so protective," while sipping wine and watching reality TV. God, the irony. A few nights later, I pretended to work late and waited to see where she'd go. Sure enough, around 9:12 p.m., her location started moving. Guess who was waiting at our street corner? Ricardo. He picked her up and drove her straight to that same damn building. I stared at her location, sitting still for over an hour. I texted her, "Hey, everything okay?" "Yeah, just grabbing coffee with a client." "Why, a client, at 10 p.m.? I didn't respond. Instead, I drove out there. My hands were shaking the whole time. I parked half a block down, turned off my lights, and waited. The Uber app showed she was still on the trip, so I knew Rico was probably parked outside or nearby. Around 10:47 p.m., I saw them, and what I saw will stay in my head forever. Part 3. So there I was, sitting in my car, lights off, heart pounding like a drum solo. I see a black Toyota Camry pull up next to the curb. License plate matches the one from her Uber receipts. It's him, Ricardo, and then I see her, my wife. She walks out of the building in a hoodie I've never seen before, hair tied up like she's trying not to be recognized. No purse, just her phone. She hops into the passenger seat, and I kid you not, they immediately start kissing. No hesitation, no subtlety, just lips on lips, hands on thighs, like something out of a trashy movie. I couldn't move. I literally froze in my seat, gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. After maybe 2 minutes, they stopped. She was laughing, not the polite, fake laugh I usually get at home. This was real. Loud, unfiltered. She looked happy. Then, they didn't even drive anywhere. They just sat there, and then the car started rocking. At first I didn't want to believe it. I told myself maybe they were just adjusting the seats or something. Nope, they were hooking up in the Uber. Right there, in the damn street. I couldn't see everything, thank God, but I saw enough. Movements, silhouettes, her face in the window. Eyes closed, completely lost in it. She never looked at him that way with me. I snapped a photo, not because I wanted to, but because I knew she'd lie. She always lies. I drove off, heartbroken, enraged, nauseated. When she got home later that night, she acted completely normal. Said she was exhausted and needed to shower. Gave me a kiss on the cheek and went straight to bed like nothing had happened. I slept on the couch. She didn't even ask why. I've never hated silence so much in my life. Part 4. I didn't confront her the next morning. I needed time to think, to plan. I took the day off work, told her I wasn't feeling well. She barely looked up from her phone. Probably texting him. I couldn't eat, couldn't sit still. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them in that car. By noon, I decided. I was going to confront her that night, but not without proof. The photo I took wasn't enough. It was blurry, distant, and could easily be explained away by her lies. So I messaged a private investigator that a friend of mine once used during his own messy breakup. The guy was professional, discreet, expensive, but worth every damn penny. He agreed to trail her over the next few days. I didn't have to wait long. 3 days later, he sent me a batch of photos and a short video clip. And there it was, crystal clear. Her getting into Rico's Uber. Her resting her head on his shoulder as he drove. Her holding hands with him while they walked into that same apartment building. Her kissing him goodbye on the cheek like they were high school sweethearts. I was done. That night, I waited until she got home. Calm, cold, she walked in and gave me her usual fake, tired, "Hey babe." I looked her straight in the eyes. "Who's Ricardo?" Her eyes widened just slightly, the only real emotion she let slip, then she rolled them and scoffed. Are you seriously going through my Uber rides now? That's controlling as hell." I stayed silent. "He's just a driver." "God, are you really that insecure?" Still quiet, I picked up my phone, pulled up the photo of them holding hands, and placed it on the coffee table. She froze. Then came the hysterics. "You spy on me now? This is abuse. That's illegal. You don't trust me? After everything I've done for you?" "He's just a friend. We were talking about his mom who's sick, okay? You're overreacting. You're always overreacting." I said nothing. She threw a pillow at me and screamed, "Fine. You want the truth? Maybe I was bored. You ignore me anyway." That's when I stood up and said 5 words. "I'm filing for divorce tomorrow." The look on her face? Priceless. Like someone had just ripped her world apart. Funny thing is, she did that to herself. Part 5. The second I said, "I'm filing for divorce tomorrow," she snapped. Not cried, not begged, snapped. She screamed, "You're not doing this to me. You don't get to just leave me like some cheap piece of trash." She started pacing, full meltdown mode, ranting about how I was nothing without her, how I wouldn't have a social life if it weren't for her, how every man cheats eventually, so what she did was just evening the score. She seriously tried to justify cheating by saying I didn't give her enough attention. Then it escalated. She threw my laptop across the room, shattered, knocked a picture frame off the wall, slapped a cup of water off the counter. I was recording. I had my phone in my pocket, audio running the entire time. I knew this could turn ugly, and I wanted everything documented. And then she screamed this, "You think you'll make it out clean? Ricardo isn't just some fling, he loves me. And guess what? He said I should leave you months ago." That was all I needed. She stormed off into the bedroom, slamming the door like a child. I grabbed my essentials, wallet, phone, passport, and walked out the door without a word. I stayed at my brother's that night. Filed for divorce the next morning. Later that afternoon, she started blowing up my phone with texts ranging from, "We can fix this. I didn't mean any of it. I was just angry, please come home," to, "You're a effing coward, asterisk. Everyone's going to know what a controlling freak you are. Good luck finding anyone who'll love you, loser." I didn't respond, but it wasn't over, because 2 days later, she tried something insane. She showed up at my work. Part 6. 2 days after I filed for divorce, I was at work trying to hold it together, pretending like my personal life wasn't a literal dumpster fire, when one of the receptionists came into my office looking nervous. "There's a woman out front. She says she's your wife. She won't leave." I froze. Before I could even respond, I heard the shouting down the hallway. "Let me in. He's my husband. You think you can ignore me like I'm nothing?" Yup, it was her. I walked out into the lobby, and there she was, standing in heels, hair a mess, mascara smudged, screaming at the receptionist like it was her fault I didn't want to speak to her. I calmly asked her to leave. She screamed back, "You're embarrassing me." I said, "You're doing that all by yourself." She turned to the crowd forming around us and actually said, "This man abandoned me for no reason. He's having a mental breakdown." I swear half the office thought I'd cheated or gone insane. My boss walked out during the commotion and just gave me a look like, "Handle this now." I told her if she didn't leave immediately, I'd call security. That set her off. She lunged for me, actually grabbed my shirt, and tried to slap my phone out of my hand when I pulled it out the record. Security came within 90 seconds and escorted her out while she screamed, cried, and made a scene like we were on a trashy reality show. I got called into HR later that day. Luckily, I had audio and video of everything, both from that morning and from the night I told her I wanted a divorce. That probably saved my job. The fallout at work was bad, but manageable. The real storm was still coming. Because guess who texted me later that night? Ricardo. Part 7. So yeah, Ricardo messaged me. I didn't even know how he got my number at first. But then I remembered. She once used my phone to call him when hers was dead. That must have been how he got it. Anyway, this was the message. Hey man. I'm sorry. I didn't know she was married when it started. She lied to me too. I didn't respond. 5 minutes later, another text. I thought you deserved to know the truth. I cut things off with her. I want nothing to do with this mess. Still didn't respond. Then, 10 minutes later, she said you abused her. Is that true? Excuse me? Now I'm pissed. I sent back one message. I have recordings. Audio, video, all of it. Don't believe a word she says. No reply after that, but the damage was done. She was telling people I abused her. I found out through a mutual friend that she was already playing the victim card, telling anyone who would listen that I emotionally neglected her, controlled her, and left her for no reason. The same friend told me she posted a now deleted Facebook rant that ended with, "Some men can't handle a strong woman." I'm not ashamed of finding love where I'm respected. Respected? From a guy she banged in a taxi? The audacity. But it gets worse, because later that week, I came home from work to find all my car tires slashed. And guess who lives 5 minutes away? Yep, her. Cops were called, report filed, no cameras on my street, of course. No proof it was her, but I know. This whole situation was turning into a circus. And then, out of nowhere, her mom called me. Part 8. So, yeah, her mom called me. At first, I didn't pick up. She left a voicemail. I know everything now. Please, call me back. I'm so sorry. Out of pure curiosity, and, honestly, needing someone to just acknowledge how insane this has been, I called her back. She didn't even waste time. I can't believe what she's done. I raised her better than this. She told me my wife had moved back into her place temporarily and had been a hysterical wreck, screaming, crying, and then trying to act like everything was normal. She apparently told her mom that I was the one cheating and that I abandoned her in her most vulnerable moment. Her mom said she didn't believe a word of it, because I had already sent her the video of the taxi incident. I had forgotten that months ago, when we were still married, her mom asked me to send her a family clip, and I had her number saved. When all this drama started escalating, I sent the proof to a few trusted people, including her. She continued. She said Ricardo was just a friend. Then I saw the messages. Screenshots. You think I don't know what a sex chat looks like? Apparently, my wife had left her phone unlocked one day and her mom read through everything. Messages, photos, voice notes. She didn't tell my wife. She just acted normal, then reached out to me. She said, and I quote, "She's lost her damn mind. If you go through with the divorce, I'll testify. You deserve better than this mess." That hit hard, because in all the chaos, betrayal, anger, there was still part of me that wondered, am I overreacting? Was it really that bad? Yes, it was. Her own mother was done with her. And that's when things really started unraveling for her. Because within the next 48 hours, she lost her job. Why? Turns out, she was using company time and equipment to talk to Ricardo, and IT flagged her for inappropriate content after someone anonymously submitted screenshots. Not me, by the way. But someone did. Karma? Now she was unemployed, living back with her mom, no car, Uber stopped letting her use the app after a complaint I'll explain next, and suddenly trying to apologize again. I just lost control. I didn't mean to hurt you. I thought we were drifting apart. Now she wants to talk? Nah. Part 9. So let's talk about Uber. After catching them in the act in the car, I was furious. Not just at her, but at him too. At first, I didn't plan on doing anything, but the more I thought about it, the more it made my blood boil. This dude was a rideshare driver hooking up with his married passenger, during rides, sometimes while on the clock. I couldn't just let that go. So I submitted a formal complaint to Uber, outlining everything. Repeated pickups with my wife. Inappropriate relationship, them being caught literally having sex in the backseat. Safety concern for other passengers. I even included a screenshot of the footage from that day. Uber responded within 24 hours. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. The driver in question has been permanently deactivated from the platform for violating our code of conduct. Ricardo lost his job, and guess what? 2 days later, he texted me again. You ruined my life, man. I didn't know she was married at first. Bro, you kept seeing her even after you knew. That's on you. I didn't reply. My wife, well, soon-to-be ex, must have found out, because she called me in a rage. You got him fired? You psychopath. He was the only person WHO cared about me. This came from the same woman who told me it didn't mean anything, literally a week earlier. Her voice was full-on screechy, hysterical, unhinged. She accused me of ruining her reputation, turning her mom against her, spying on her like a creep, and even had the nerve to call me abusive again. I hung up, blocked her, everywhere. My lawyer told me the divorce should be finalized in 2 weeks. It's a clean break, no kids, no shared property outside of the apartment lease I already got out of. But here's the kicker. My ex's best friend, one of the girls who used to trash talk me behind my back, reached out. What she told me changed everything. Final part. So yeah, her best friend, let's call her Jess, messaged me. At first, I didn't want to respond. Jess always seemed shady. She was one of those people who enabled my ex's worst behavior. Impulsive nights out, trash talking behind people's backs, manipulating guys for free stuff. So I was suspicious, but curiosity won, and what she told me blew me away. You should know, Ricardo wasn't the first. Wait, what? She told me this thing with Ricardo was just the tip of the iceberg. Apparently, my wife had been having emotional affairs for years, and at least 2 physical ones before him. One was a coworker from 2 jobs ago. The other, some guy from a girls' trip to Miami I wasn't invited to. Jess said she kept quiet because my ex was manipulative as hell, even to her friends, always threatening to cut people off if they didn't stay loyal. But after everything that happened, her screaming matches with her mom, the fallout with Ricardo, losing her job, Jess was done being silent. She ended the message with, "I never liked how she treated you. You deserved better. I just didn't have the guts to say anything until now. And honestly, it didn't even hurt anymore. It just confirmed what I already suspected deep down. My wife didn't just fall for a driver. She's a serial liar, a manipulator, and an emotional leech. And now she's reaping everything she's sown. Job? Gone. Boy toy? Gone. Family support? Gone. Reputation? Ruined. And me? I'm free. Got the divorce papers signed. Moving into a new apartment next week. Reconnecting with old friends I had distanced myself from. Finally breathing again. This whole mess taught me a lot. Trust your gut. If something feels off for too long, it probably is. And never ignore red flags just because you love someone. If you read this far, thank you. This was the worst year of my life, but also the start of something better. Onward.